incremental improvements. He needs a major breakthrough if that Starship is going to be reliable and reusable.
So it seems obvious that space and the industry is very important, right? Can you talk to us about why? Perhaps does it intersect with national security?
Oh, absolutely. The technology that we developed at NASA for hypersonic vehicles was definitely dual use. Some of the joint programs we worked on back in the day at my time, National Aerospace Plane, a lot of that hypersonics technology is what kept us ahead of China. Right now, we are behind China in hypersonics technology, right? They have operational hypersonic weapons. The United States does not. That's the importance of going back to research and development. And that's why Sean Duffy needs to take a hard look at transforming the culture, not just rearranging the bureaucracy.
And you raised a point that I would like to go further in detail with. You're saying in some aspects, China is actually ahead of the U.S. But overall, would you say holistically, the U.S. still has a lead over other countries like China, for example?
Right now, they have the edge in hypersonics technology and hypersonics weapons, right? We have an edge in human space flight, but they are rapidly gaining on us. And right now, I feel like we're pressured to rush with this Artemis program. It has serious problems. And if we don't transform NASA, China will overtake us without a doubt.
Okay, one last question, Charles. How does the U.S. maintain its lead?
It maintains its lead by going back to research and development and developing that research culture. We stopped putting real funds into research and development and new technology over 45 years ago, okay? And most of that money went to human space flight, and we drained our research capability at the 3 research centers.
Okay, Charles, it was so great to talk to you today. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
My pleasure, Don. Thanks for having me.
Coming up, the Justice Department charges 5 alleged Mexican cartel members. The indictment comes amid President Trump's crackdown on drug trafficking into the United States. Don't go away.
What if you could whiten your teeth by simply brushing your teeth? Now you can with Smile Actives, the teeth whitening breakthrough that safely gets your teeth white and keeps them white every day, just by brushing your teeth.
I never thought that whitening my teeth could be so easy. I just put the gel on the brush, the toothpaste on it, brush, and I can see my white teeth.
Simply add Smile Actives to any toothpaste and our patented PolyClean technology activates into a powerful microfoam that penetrates into the enamel surface to safely lift and remove stains.
You need a simple way to whiten your teeth. Without strips, without trays, without going to the dentist. And it was about time that a product was developed that you would be able to do that with just brushing.
And now Smile Actives is even better with new Pro Whitening Gel with 33% greater whitening power, clinically shown to whiten teeth faster, up to 8 shades. 100% of users saw whiter teeth. On food stains, coffee and wine stains, even on veneers, crowns, and dentures.
I eat the blueberries, I drink the coffee, and I know that Smile Actives will keep my teeth white every day.
If you could use something so easy like Smile Actives to take yellow teeth to white teeth, why wouldn't you?
Why spend hundreds of dollars for whitening treatments at the dentist when now you can whiten your teeth with new Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel every time you brush your teeth? Call or go to smileactives.com and for a limited time get new Pro Whitening Gel for just $24.95. Order in the next 5 minutes and buy one get one absolutely free for just $24.95. That's 2 for 1 and save 58%. We'll even include free shipping. Get your teeth whiter guaranteed or return it within 60 days for your money back.
I smile every day now.
The difference is literally night and day.
So now I'm always smiling, always choosing, because now my teeth are much whiter.
This offer is not available in stores, so call or click now before the special buy one get one free offer goes away.
First time that I went to see him, a lot of stuff came into my mind because I wasn't prepared at all. I know the first 3 months of his life were really important, and I wanted to be there all the time for him. First time he was like, "Daddy, Daddy." That was one of his first words. He grew up so quick. He just surprised me every day. He's really smart. I really think he can be an astronaut president. But I'm gonna support him for wherever he wants to be. Whether he wanna be a photographer, musician, whatever. As a father, I guess you don't focus on you. I put himself first. That's what a dad does.
The Justice Department has charged 5 high-ranking Mexican cartel members. The indictment comes amid President Donald Trump's efforts to crack down on drug trafficking into the United States. The DOJ says the United Cartel's distribution network spans the United States. Hubs include Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Kansas City, Sacramento, Los Angeles, Denver, and Chicago. According to the Justice Department, the network extends to Europe, Australia, and beyond. The State Department has designated the United Cartels as a foreign terrorist organization. The 5 defendants allegedly participated in decades-long conspiracies to manufacture and traffic controlled substances, including methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl into the U.S. The government is offering a reward of up to $10 million for information leading to the arrest of United Cartel's top leader. Multi-million-dollar rewards have been offered for the 4 other members. All 5 are believed to be in Mexico. Florida is preparing to open a second immigration detention facility. This comes after the state set up a site dubbed Alligator Alcatraz just last month. Governor Ron DeSantis announced the idea to open a second facility this morning.
Here in North Florida, we are calling this the Deportation Depot. It is going to be located here at Baker Correctional Institute. And again, the reason of this is not to just house people indefinitely. We want to process, stage, and then return illegal aliens to their home country.
The so-called Deportation Depot will be located about 40 miles west of Jacksonville. It is expected to hold 1,300 immigration detention beds. But state officials say the capacity could be expanded to 2,000 beds. DeSantis says the Trump administration needs the additional capacity to hold and deport more immigrants. That's why Florida is setting up a second detention center after recently opening Alligator Alcatraz. Florida's Attorney General has moved to ban a potent synthetic opioid known as 7-OH. The emergency order makes the drug illegal to sell in the state, putting it in the same category as heroin and LSD.
So it is a significant painkiller. It has been proven to be highly addictive and easily can be overdosed. We've seen it marketed and targeted to kids. We are taking emergency action now because we see immediate danger.
7-OH is a natural substance from a plant, but officials say products on the market contain concentrated amounts of the substance made through chemical manipulation. Federal regulators warn 7-OH can be more potent than morphine. The substance is sometimes found in products like drinks and gummies. Officials say some 7-OH products are marketed to children. Political tensions in Texas continue. An Illinois judge yesterday denied Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's request to enforce civil arrest warrants for the Texas House Democrats. The Democrats left the state trying to block a redistricting effort. If the redistricting is successful, it could land Republicans 5 additional U.S. House seats. Dozens of Texas House Democrats left the Lone Star State on August 3rd and have assembled in Illinois. They're trying to prevent the redistricting by denying the State House of Representatives a quorum. Democrats have received criticism for assembling in Illinois, a state often accused of redistricting in favor of Democrats. NBC host Kirsten Welker recently questioned Governor J.B. Pritzker on the topic. Welker said every major group that grades the fairness of congressional maps gives Illinois an F. Meanwhile, the Texas State Senate this week passed a map approving the 5 congressional seats. The Texas House must approve the map before Texas Governor Greg Abbott can sign it into law. President Trump aims to extend federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police. Congressional approval is usually needed, and Democrats are pushing back. NTD's Melina Weisskopf reports.
National Guard troops are posted here outside of Washington, D.C.'s Union Station within walking distance of the nation's capital. A man was arrested earlier this morning, though at this point it's unclear exactly why he was detained. I've spoken to a couple of locals as well as tourists who have mixed reactions about President Trump's federal takeover of the police force here in D.C.
Kids got to see this. Why is this? Why is that? So you got to explain and teach them, well, hey, you ain't did nothing, but just the possibility of us getting up, waking up in the morning, they may say something to me or whoever.
Yeah, things are out of control, and I think it helps.
It's not about the cops, the guards, it's nothing like that. We need, as a people, we need to do the right things, and we can live better if we do the right things.
Last night there was a vehicle security checkpoint set up at 14th Street Northwest, which is a very busy area here in Washington, D.C. And there were protesters lining the streets trying to get vehicles to turn away from that security checkpoint. Take a look at that protest.
So we're trying to get people to turn left so that nobody drives down this street and doesn't have to be wrongfully detained.
More than 300 vehicles passed through that checkpoint. Around 30 were stopped. One driver was arrested for having no permit and counterfeit tags. This is all part of President Trump's efforts to crack down on crime here in the nation's capital. And tactics like this could become more of the norm here in Washington, D.C. At least for the next month or so, President Trump is trying to extend this law enforcement presence past the 30-day period that he's authorized to invoke federal law enforcement presence here in the nation's capital. Now, he's also asking Congress for a small amount of money to, in his words, fix up the nation's capital. This is to address aesthetic issues like fixing potholes and roads. He's also asking lawmakers to write up a crime bill that will initially apply to D.C., but the Trump administration wants to use that as a blueprint to address crime in other cities across the nation.
We're going to use it as a very positive example. And we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions.
But Democrats are already pushing back on this effort. For example, you see Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who said that there is no way Democrats in the Senate will support bills like this once they are introduced in Congress. Anticipating this Democrat pushback, Trump says that he's prepared to declare a national emergency if needed to skirt Congress's approval. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
Coming up, President Trump is set to meet with Russian President Putin tomorrow for ceasefire negotiations. What leverage does Washington have over Moscow? We discuss with the national security analyst. Stay tuned.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick. On and off the field, we were taught to not show any signs of weakness. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. I thought that something was wrong with me. For 20 plus years was physical. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father, as a man, and as a husband. Put the importance on your mental health. I'm not scared to talk about it anymore. The first tool is therapy. The second one is positive self-talk. And then journaling, putting your thoughts on paper. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
My 15-year-old son, Ethan, and I had a fun and relaxing morning. We returned home, and Ethan walked to his best friend's house an hour later. I heard the ambulance scream by the street, carrying my beautiful boy. Ethan was shot in the head in his best friend's house with an unsecured gun. He had zero chance of survival. The father, the gun owner, he stored his 3 guns and bullets in a shoebox.
How do you feel?
That has to be the most horrific experience that a human could ever have.
David, would you give any advice?
First thing you do is not keep your ammunition with your weapons, and that your weapons need to be locked at all times.
President Trump says he thinks Russia's Vladimir Putin is ready to make a deal to end the war in Ukraine. This is less than 24 hours before a historic summit between the two presidents. NTD's international correspondent Arian Pazdar has more on the upcoming meeting.
Let's see how the talks go. And we're hopeful. We want there to be a peace. We're going to do everything we can to achieve one.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Thursday saying the U.S. is doing its best in working toward peace in Ukraine. President Trump is set to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday in Alaska. Rubio commented on the goals of the summit.
There'll have to be some conversation about security guarantees. There'll have to be some conversation about, territorial disputes and claims and what they're fighting over. All these things will be part of a comprehensive thing. But I think the president's hope is to achieve some stoppage of fighting so that those conversations can happen.
Also on Thursday, Trump said he thinks Russia is ready to find an agreement to end the fighting. The president told Fox News, "I think he's going to make a deal." But he added, "I don't know that we're going to get an immediate ceasefire." Trump says Friday's meeting might pave the way for a second summit, which would include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Meanwhile in Russia, Putin on Thursday suggesting Washington and Moscow could make a deal on nuclear arms control.
At the next stage, we might reach agreements in the area of control over strategic offensive weapons.
He added that the U.S. is making a sincere effort to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. Putin says the Trump administration is trying to end the crisis and reach agreements that are in the interest of all parties involved in the conflict. And the Kremlin released a schedule for Friday's summit. The meeting in Alaska will begin at 11:30 a.m. local time on Friday. That's 3:30 Eastern time. The two leaders will start with a one-on-one session, followed by talks between their full delegations. According to Russia, Trump and Putin are scheduled to hold a joint press conference after the talks. It's not clear yet what time the presser is expected to start. Arian Pazdar, NTD News.
Joining us now for analysis of President Trump's upcoming meeting with Russia's President Putin is Armen Kurdian, foreign policy and national security analyst and retired U.S. Navy captain. Good afternoon, Armen. So Trump warned of very severe consequences if Putin refuses to end the war after this summit. What would you say? What is your best guess of what those consequences might be?
Well, Don, honestly, I think that this summit might be more effective if Trump had actually imposed some of these sanctions. That way, Putin would have something additional that we'd want to work towards actually eliminating. I think basically Putin is going to inveigle and obfuscate his way to try to delay any imposition of some of these sanctions. I think what we're looking at are, first of all, maybe secondary sanctions on countries that buy oil from Russia. That's number one. Number two, I think you want to sanction a lot of maybe Russian oligarchs, a lot of businessmen, a lot of his supporters who perhaps have assets outside the country, although I think over $300 billion of Russian assets have already been frozen. Perhaps something that's rather draconian is taking Russia off of the petrodollar market. You have a way of actually eliminating their ability to do banking in U.S. dollars, which would really slow things down for them. But right now, he's still able to finance his industry internally. He's borrowing money. He's pushing his economy all the way to the limit to build drones, to build artillery, and all of this war machine that's going into Ukraine, whereas the West is not nearly as focused on the war machine, although we have 10, 20 times, 50 times the economic might that Russia has on its own. So based on the disparity of some of these factors, we're still kind of even out here. But really, I think we need to have more than just threats. We need to have Putin under more pressure before we actually go into this summit.
So are you saying pressure is the key here? At this point, do we know what exactly could convince Putin to end the war he started on Ukraine?
Well, I think number one, if he is unable to continue to finance, for example, all these drones, all these weapons he's building at a rate 20, 30 times of what he was doing when he was first went into the war, maybe unable to pay, say, the North Korean soldiers that are coming in. If he doesn't have that money, and a lot of his money is coming from outside the country, when Russia's buying oil, you have other countries in the world that are buying oil. Maybe they're on their border of Russia or very close, and they want to maintain good neighbors. But what Trump is doing domestically in terms of U.S. energy production, for example, and expanding LNG exports to Europe and expanding those sales, that's basically money that's not going to go into Putin's pocket. That is going to be a big hit to him. It's not going to be a critical hit, but it's going to be a big hit. If we can continue to do that and be the world's preeminent non-OPEC supplier of energy, that, I think, more than anything, is going to bring countries like Russia and Iran, and to a second degree, China and North Korea to heal, because now they may have to buy energy internally at greatly discounted prices. And that's going to be an impact to those countries as well that are selling that energy. And we need to get our Western powers and other neutral nations on board with these types of sanctions and these types of economic pressure that goes onto Putin. So it is, quite frankly, the way you end this war is you starve Putin of money to basically fund his war machine. And then you continue to support Ukraine with not just high-tech weapons, which are, frankly, a little hard to build, and we're slow at getting them out, but a lot of the basic stuff that the Ukrainians need: uniforms, small artillery, small arms, basic artillery, vehicles, other types of logistic equipment, construction equipment, that basic kind of stuff, which we can churn out a lot faster, which will help support the basis and fundamental roots of the Ukrainian war effort.
Right, that's a good point you make there, Armin. And if we're looking at the meeting and who's attending, for example, Russia's foreign minister, or rather Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Defense, Minister of Finance, and others, does that tell us about any potential signals about how Russia is prioritizing this meeting? What are its priorities?
I think what it says is they're basically going in, they're probably all unified. Putin surrounds himself with loyalists, at least in his inner circle. I don't know about the rest of the government. Perhaps, as talk about what the U.S. can do, finding maybe some folks with a sympathetic ear in the Russian government and trying to get some kind of information operations into them to try to end this war that way internally. But frankly, they're going to be there to try to tell him how to respond to a lot of the U.S. counter operations. This is basically going to be, a sword fight in Alaska. You got a couple of major world leaders that are going to be out there fencing, trying to find an advantage. And, it's going to be, a parry, stab, parry, and try to come to a conclusion. But the only way that I think can be any success is if, at the very least, if we're not going to impose sanctions ahead of time, then Trump needs to say either we come out of here with a ceasefire within 24 or 48 hours. It can be unconditional. We just sort of stop the fighting, or else the sanctions go in place. I don't believe that Putin. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
I was just wondering, you were talking about success there. Are you optimistic for what might come out of the meeting?
Actually, I'm not. I'm not optimistic whatsoever about what might actually come out of this meeting. I think Putin is going to say whatever he can to try to extend things. He's going to continue to try to obfuscate. He's going to say one thing. He's going to do another. And I think, Trump has done an incredible job in his short time as president. He's brought four other local conflicts to an end. I mean, that is saying something. That is a heck of a lot more than what the previous administration has actually done. But every U.S. leader, going back to George W. Bush and Clinton, have not managed Russia the way that they need to be managed. Russia understands strength. Russia understands action. They don't necessarily understand talk. Well, I would say they don't understand talk. They do understand talk, because Putin sees Trump's desire and willingness and strong wanting to make a deal as his weakness. And I think he's going to use that. And as a secondary effect, it's Trump's ego. I made a deal. I brought this to an end. Trump is using that against him kind of psychologically. And I don't know if Trump really fully understands what is actually happening, because in all the other conflicts that he's been able to resolve this year, there has been a willingness on both sides to end fighting. They didn't want to expand it. There is not that on this side of Russia. And maybe Trump realizes that, but I don't know if he fully understands that Putin is trying to use this, his own ego against him, if you will, to try to end this conflict.
So Trump has suggested swapping territory, but Zelensky has publicly pushed back against the idea of ceding territory to Russia. How do you think this idea of territorial concessions, how is it going to play out?
I don't think it's going to play out very well. I would not be negotiating in public or making those kinds of public comments. If you go back in history, 5,000 years, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, whether you're on the side of good or on the side of evil, the fact of the matter is, when you take territory and you control it with your army and nobody can take it away from you, it belongs to you. Whether or not it's legally recognized or whatever, it belongs to you. And Russia has taken it and they control it. They don't necessarily legally have annexed it. It's not recognized in the eyes of the world, but they control it. And the only way to get them off of there is to give them something else that makes them want to voluntarily leave or to forcibly expel them. And that the forcible expulsion hasn't happened, although it's come at an exceptionally heavy price, probably 50 times heavier than Putin actually thought it was actually going to be. So if there is any kind of exchange or other types, maybe buffer zones or demilitarized zones, that's going to have to be decided by the Ukrainian people. Zelensky is not going to make that decision on his own. I'm sure he's going to want the large majority, if not unanimous consent from his own parliament, his supporters and his detractors to agree to that. That is not something that you want to kind of make a decision. Yeah, I'm giving up part of my country. I mean, the country could actually break up in a civil war and actually make things worse. So it's, Russia is very happy to have what they have. They want to take more. Ukraine doesn't want to give anything up. And as you can see, there is a lot of space between those two sides.
Okay, just one last thing, and a follow-up of what you said earlier about you not being very optimistic about what might come out of this meeting. How much do you think the results of this meeting could impact overall peace negotiations?
Well, just the fact that they're actually talking, I mean, if you want to find any kind of silver lining, is a positive. But this kind of summit, it needs to be more than just the U.S. and Russia and Ukraine. All the other countries with a vested interest in seeing this war stop, every government in Europe needs to be fully involved, needs to be applying greater pressure, needs to be applying diplomatic pressure. Perhaps if there was some larger summit, I'm thinking, do you have 30, 40, 50 world leaders coming together to try to end this war, find a way to stop it and make it end, and spend a week doing it and with an agenda or thoughts. It might take that kind of no holds barred, all out diplomatic effort on the part of the global community as a whole to end this conflict, because thousands of lives are being lost, almost 1 million total on both sides. That the human toll has been terrible, and it's destabilizing. It's destabilizing the world. A lot of the U.S. industrial capacity is going into this war, fighting a war that is not ours, that should never have started in the first place. And that, I think, is something that everybody has got to remember, that this is a mess that Trump inherited, and he's trying to do the best he can to try to end it.
Right, and we'll find out how it goes in less than 24 hours. And Trump said earlier as well, he'll know in the first few minutes of the meeting how it's going to go. Oh, all right,
That's
Armin,
exactly
it's
right.
always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Don. Have a great day.
In the city of Anchorage, the mayor says the city is excited and ready to host the Trump-Putin meeting tomorrow.
We'll be prepared and ready for whatever we need to support. And, we're working closely with the governor's office and the White House and the military to ensure that we are fully prepared to host this event and any other future events as well.
Trump said yesterday that this week's meeting could swiftly be followed by a second that would include the leader of Ukraine. Mayor LaFrance says the city is ready for any demonstrations or expressions of free speech. She said she's hopeful the meeting will lead to peace and an end to the war. At the same time, the floodwater in the capital city of Juneau in Alaska has been effectively contained. This comes after the city installed emergency levees, which prevented widespread damage from a flood unleashed by a glacier. Officials have been urging residents to evacuate the flood zone in recent days. A torrent began to hit the city after a nearby ice dam unleashed a massive amount of melted snow water downstream. Flooding has been a recurring problem for Juneau since 2011. Last year, the city saw many homes and properties washed away by the torrent. But there is no report of damage this time around. Mexico City has launched the 20th edition of the Torta Fair. The event commenced with the unveiling of what organizers claim is the world's largest torta. Stay tuned for that.
Hi, I'm Ty Pennington, here for Choice Home Warranty. They protect my home from expensive repairs, and they can do the same for you. No matter if it's your refrigerator, plumbing, or more than 20 other home systems and appliances, Choice Home Warranty has saved millions of homeowners a whole lot of money. For a low monthly fee, you get their nationwide network of trusted local technicians with plans that cover repairs and replacements done quickly and the right way. No more headaches searching for technicians. No more budget-breaking chaos. Just a peace of mind of having Choice Home Warranty at your service. Call Choice Home Warranty now and save big with their special offer of your first month free and free limited roof coverage. Call now.
Call Choice Home Warranty for your free personalized quote and to get your first month free. Call in the next 5 minutes, and as our special offer, you'll receive free limited roof coverage. Call now to lock in your rate and save big. Call 800-522-0122, 800-522-0122.
This land, our America, built on hard work, determination, and grit. Sometimes the days run long, but hope, it never runs out, even when the food does, for America's veterans, working parents, even kids. Because in every corner of every town, even yours, millions of hardworking neighbors are facing a hunger crisis, many for the very first time. In this land of plenty, affording food shouldn't require second jobs and third shifts or choosing between your groceries and bills. Today, you can help change that. Call or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give $19 a month, less than 63 cents a day, to help every neighbor get the food they urgently need. Because taking care of each other is what makes America strong. We're Feeding America, not just a name, but an action. Working with over 200 local food banks like the ones in your community, and demand is soaring.
You go to the grocery store, you spend $100, and $100 is a new $20 bill.
Even with 2 full-time jobs, it's hard to make ends meet.
These are tough times, but when we stand together, we become the very best of a strong America. Please call or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org. Just $19 a month can feed a family today, and your first gift can double an impact. Plus, we'll send you this free canvas bag as a reminder of the hope you're delivering.
When it comes down to it, it's about taking care of your family first and the loved ones that you need to provide for.
Because you're not just giving food, you're fueling resilience for people across the nation. You're feeding America. Call or go online today to helpfeedingamerica.org, and your gift can double an impact.
Chinese artificial intelligence company DeepSeek is reportedly pushing back releasing a new model after failing to train it using Huawei's chips. The move underscores China's reliance on U.S. technology, plus the limits in its push to become self-dependent. The report comes from Financial Times, citing people familiar with the matter. The outlet reported that Chinese authorities urged DeepSeek to use Huawei's Ascend processor rather than NVIDIA's products. NVIDIA is a leading U.S. company making chips that power AI chatbots. DeepSeek reportedly used Huawei chips for first, but ran into constant tech issues. It had to switch to NVIDIA chips instead. President Trump struck a deal with NVIDIA. Under it, the company has to share 15% of its H20 chip sales to China with the U.S. government. Chinese state media discouraged companies from using NVIDIA's chips following the deal. Microchips are at the heart of U.S.-China competition as they power our modern life, from cars, laptops to military weapons. The U.S. government has been trying to limit Beijing's access to advanced U.S. microchips over concerns that it could enhance its military capability. Trump said NVIDIA's H20 chips are an old chip that China already has. NVIDIA has made H20 less powerful than its top-performing chips to adhere to export control restrictions. Last week, OpenAI released its first artificial intelligence model since releasing ChatGPT. It comes as the company tries to get ahead of the curve amid rising competition from China's DeepSeek. The release comes a half a year after DeepSeek launched an AI model similar to ChatGPT. The news sent shockwaves in the market and raised concerns that China is narrowing the gap in its AI race with the U.S. The 20th edition of the Torta Fair is underway in Mexico City. The torta is a Mexican sandwich, and event organizers say they have now set a new sandwich record. Let's take a look.
The event began Wednesday with the unveiling of what organizers say is the world's largest torta. The sandwich measured over 295 feet long and weighed over 1 ton. More than 90 national and international vendors collaborated to create this massive sandwich. Over 50 specially chosen ingredients were used.
I loved it. It's a very beautiful place. The giant torta is spectacular. Everything here is delicious. I think I could come back here.
The fair has produced a total of 3,800 feet of giant torta since its inception 20 years ago. It is a key tradition of the event.
It's an incredible and pleasant experience if you come with family, and it's great. Well, the best torta I've tried is the seafood one.
Event organizers say visitors can sample tortas ranging from traditional to exotic fillings such as insects and wild boar. The 5-day festival includes live performances from over 50 artists.
Coming up, California officials are making a major announcement after redistricting efforts in Texas. How Governor Gavin Newsom is responding to Republicans after the break.
As we naturally age, many people are getting zero amount of this incredible and unique substance. That's when we start seeing an impact in our joints, skin, nails, and even our digestion.
People ask me, Dr. X, what is the #1 supplement I should be taking? My answer is multi-collagen protein.
People's reactions to me, people were like, what are you doing? What is going on? You look amazing. You have a glow about you.
What makes Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen stand out from other brands? 10 types of collagen. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised with vitamin C and probiotics. It's proven to reduce joint discomfort rapidly, continuously, and persistently. It improves the appearance of crow's feet after 4 weeks and improves skin tone after 8 weeks. And it promotes hair thickness, growth, and a reduction in hair breakage.
It has transformed everything from my hair. Like, my hair was starting to kind of just, come out, and I don't have that anymore. My skin feels amazing.
Call the number on your screen and find out how to get a free bottle when you order, plus free shipping and our 30-day money-back guarantee. And as a bonus, we will include Dr. Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin's revolutionary book, Multi-Collagen Makeover, free with your order, plus free shipping and free returns.
I have implicit trust in Dr. Axe because the plan worked. I'm living proof of it.
This is the collagen protein that is backed by clinical studies. It's what my family uses, it's what I use, and I know you're going to benefit in a big way as well.
Love the results or get your money back. This special TV offer is not available in stores. Call the number on your screen or go online now.
The bladder control aisle. You won't shop here again. Your private business is your own. The constant struggle is over. Now there's a better way. It's HDIS. We home deliver bladder control products. We understand how you feel. For over 25 years, we've home delivered to many of the 20 million Americans who deal with incontinence.